2 Corinthians chapter 1. Shual, an emissary of YHWH Messiah by the desire of Elohim, and Timothy, the brother to the assembly of Elohim that is at Corinth, with all the set-apart ones who are in all Arcadia. Favor to you and peace from Elohim, our Father, and the Master YHWH Messiah. Blessed be the Elohim and Father of our Master YHWH Messiah, the Father of compassion, and Elohim of all comfort, who is comforting us in all our pressure, enabling us to comfort those who are in every pressure, through the comfort with which we ourselves are comforted by Elohim. Because as the sufferings of Messiah overflow in us, so our comfort also overflows through Messiah. And if we suffer pressure, it is for your comfort and deliverance, being worked out in enduring the same suffering which we also suffer. If we are comforted, it is for your comfort and deliverance. And our expectation for you is steadfast, because we know that as you are sharing in the sufferings, so also in the comfort. For we do not wish you to be ignorant, brothers, of our pressure which came to us in Asia, that we were weighed down exceedingly beyond ability, so that we despaired even of life. Indeed, we had the sentence of death in ourselves, that we should not trust in ourselves, but in Elohim who raises the dead, who rescued us from so great a death, and does rescue, in whom we trust that he shall still rescue us. You also helping together in prayer for us, that thanks shall be given by many on our behalf for the favor bestowed upon us through many. For our boasting is this, the witness of our conscience, that we behaved ourselves in the world in simplicity and sincerity of Elohim, not in fleshly wisdom, but in the favor of Elohim, and much more toward you. For we are not writing any other matters to you than what you read or understand. Now I trust you shall understand even to the end, as also you have understood us in part, that we are your boast as you also are ours. In the day of the Master YHWH, and relying on this, I intended to come to you before, that you might twice receive a favor, and to pass your way into Macedonia, and again from Macedonia come to you, and to be sent by you on my way to Yehuda. Since I intended this, did I do it lightly? Or what I plan? Do I plan according to the flesh? That with me there should be yea, yea, and no, no? But Elohim is trustworthy, that our word to you was not yea and no. For the Son of Elohim, YHWH Messiah, who was proclaimed among you by us, by me, Silas and Timothy, was not yea and no, but in him was yea. For as many promises as are of Elohim, in him they are yea, and in him, amen, to the esteem of Elohim through us. But he who establishes us with you in Messiah, and has anointed us, is Elohim, who also sealed us and gave the Spirit in our hearts as a pledge. And I call Elohim as witness against my being, that to spare you I came no more to Corinth. Not that we rule over your belief, but we are fellow workers for your joy, for you stand by belief. 2 Corinthians chapter 2. And I decided this within myself, not to come to you again in sadness. For if I make you sad, then who is he who makes me glad, but the one who is made sad by me? And I wrote to you as I did, so that having come, I might not have sadness over those from whom I should have joy, trusting in you all, that my joy is that of you all. For out of much pressure and distress of heart I wrote to you, with many tears, not that you should be sad, but that you might know the love which I do richly have for you. But if anyone has caused sadness, he has not made me sad. But in some degree you all, not to be too harsh. For such a one, this punishment by the many is sufficient. So that, on the contrary, you should rather forgive and comfort, lest somehow such a one be swallowed up with too much sadness. So I appeal to you to confirm your love to him. Besides, I wrote for this purpose also, that I might know the proof of you, if you are obedient in all matters. And whom you forgive any matter, I do also. For indeed, if I have forgiven any matter, I have forgiven that one for your sakes in the sight of Messiah, lest Satan should take advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his thoughts. And when I came to Troas for the good news of Messiah, and a door was opened to me by the Master, I had no rest in my spirit, because I did not find Titus my brother. But taking my leave of them, I went on to Macedonia. But thanks be to Elohim, who always leads us on to overcome in Messiah, and manifests through us the fragrance of his knowledge in every place. Because we are to Elohim the fragrance of Messiah, among those who are being saved, and among those who are perishing. To the one we are the smell of death to death, and to the other the fragrance of life to life. And who is competent for these? For we are not as so many adulterating the word of Elohim for gain, but as of sincerity, but as from Elohim, in the sight of Elohim, we speak in Messiah. 2 Corinthians chapter 3. Are we to begin to recommend ourselves again? Or do we need as some letters of recommendation to you or from you? You are our letter, having been written in our hearts, known and read by all men, making it obvious that you are a letter of Messiah, served by us, written not with ink, but by the Spirit of the living Elohim, not on tablets of stone, but on fleshly tablets of the heart. And such trust we have toward Elohim through the Messiah. Not that we are competent in ourselves to reckon any matter as from ourselves, but our competence is from Elohim, who also made us competent as servants of a renewed covenant, not of the letter, but of the Spirit. For the letter kills, but the Spirit gives life. But if the administering of death in letters engraved on stones was esteemed so that the children of Israel were unable to look steadily at the face of Moshe because of the esteem of his face which was passing away, how much more esteemed shall the ministering of the Spirit not be? For if the administering of condemnation had esteem, the administering of righteousness exceeds much more in esteem. For indeed what was made esteemed had no esteem in this respect, in view of the esteem that excels. For if that which is passing away was esteemed, much more that which remains in esteem. Having been such expectation, we use much boldness of speech, and not like Moshe, who put a veil over his face, so that the children of Israel should not look steadily at the end of what was passing away. But their minds were hardened, for to this day, when the old covenant is being read, that same veil remains not lifted, because in Messiah it is taken away. But to this day, when Moshe is being read, a veil lies on their heart. And when one turns to the Master, the veil is taken away. Now Yahuwah is the Spirit, and where the Spirit of Yahuwah is, there is freedom. And we all, as with unveiled face, we see as in a mirror the esteem of Yahuwah, are being transformed into the same likeness, from esteem to esteem, as from Yahuwah the Spirit. 2 Corinthians chapter 4. Therefore, having this service, even as we received compassion, we do not lose heart, but have renounced the secret ways of shame, not walking in craftiness, nor falsifying the word of Elohim, but by the manifestation of the truth, recommending ourselves to every human conscience in the sight of Elohim. And indeed, if our good news has been veiled, it has been veiled in those who are perishing, in whom the mighty one of this age has blinded the minds of the unbelieving, so that the enlightening of the good news of the esteem of Messiah, who is the likeness of Elohim, does not shine on them. For we do not proclaim ourselves, but Messiah Yahushua the Master, and ourselves your servants for the sake of Yahushua. For Elohim, who said, "Let light shine out of darkness," is the one who has shone in our hearts for the enlightening of the knowledge of the esteem of Elohim in the face of Yahushua Messiah. And we have this treasure in earthen vessels, so that the excellency of the power might be of Elohim and not of us, being hard pressed on every side, but not crushed, being perplexed but not in despair, being persecuted but not forsaken, being thrown down but not destroyed, always bearing about in the body the dying of the Master Yahushua, that the life of Yahushua might also be manifested in our body. For we, the living, are always delivered to death for the sake of Yahushua, that the life of Yahushua might also be manifested in our mortal flesh, so that death indeed is working in us, but the life in you. But having the same spirit of belief, according to what has been written, I believed, therefore I spoke. We also believe, therefore we also speak, knowing that he who raised up the Master Yahushua shall also raise us up through Yahushua, and shall present us with you. For all this is for your sake, so that favor, having spread through the many, would cause thanksgiving to overflow unto the esteem of Elohim. Therefore we do not lose heart. But even if our outward man is perishing, the inward man is being renewed day by day. For this slight momentary pressure is working for us a far more exceeding and everlasting weight of esteem. We are not looking on what is seen, but on what is not seen. For what is seen passes away, but what is not seen is everlasting. 2 Corinthians chapter 5. For we know that if the tent of our earthly house is destroyed, we have a building from Elohim, a house not made with hands, everlasting in the heavens. For indeed in this we groan, longing to put on our dwelling, which is from heaven, so that having put it on, we shall not be found naked. For indeed we who are in this tent groan, being burdened, not because we wish to put it off, but to put on the other, so that what is to die might be swallowed up by life. Now he who has prepared us for this same purpose is Elohim, who has given us the Spirit as a pleasure of what is to come. Therefore, being always of good courage, and knowing that while we are at home in the body, we are absent from the Master. For we walk by belief, not by sight. We are of good courage, and are well pleased rather to be absent from the body and to be present with the Master. So we also make it our aim to be well pleasing to him, whether being at home or being away from home. For we all have to appear before the judgment seat of Messiah, in order for each one to receive according to what he has done in the body, whether good or evil. Knowing therefore the fear of Yahuwah, we persuade men, but we have been made manifest to Elohim. And I also trust in your consciences to have been manifested. For we do not again commend ourselves to you, but give you an occasion to boast on our behalf, in order that you have an answer for those who take pride in appearance and not in heart. For whether we are beside ourselves, it was for Elohim, or whether we are of sound mind, it is for you. For the love of Messiah compels us, having judged this, that if one died for all, then all died. And he died for all, that those who live should no longer live for themselves, but for him who died for them and was raised. So from now onwards, we know no one according to the flesh. And if we have known Messiah according to the flesh, yet now we no longer know him thus. Therefore, if anyone is in Messiah, he is a renewed creature. the old matters have passed away. See, all matters have become renewed, and all matters are from Elohim, who has restored us to favor with himself through Yahushua Messiah, and has given us the service of restoration to favor. That is, that Elohim was in Messiah, restoring the world in favor unto himself, not reckoning their trespasses to them, and has committed to us the word of restoration to favor. Therefore we are envoys on behalf of Messiah, as though Elohim were pleading through us. We beg on behalf of Messiah, be restored to favor with Elohim, for he made him who knew no sin to be sin for us, so that in him we might become the righteousness of Elohim. 2 Corinthians, the 6th chapter. And working together, we also call upon you not to receive the favor of Elohim in vain. For he says, in an acceptable time I have heard you, and in a day of deliverance I have helped you. See, now is the well-accepted time. See, now is a day of deliverance, given no cause of stumbling in whatever, so that the service is not blamed. Rather, we commend ourselves as servants of Elohim in every way, in much endurance, in pressures, in hardships, in distresses, in stripes, in imprisonments, in disturbances, in toils, in watchings, in fastings, in cleanness, in knowledge, in patience, in kindness, in the set-apart spirit, in love unfinged, in the word of truth, in the power of Elohim, through the weapons of righteousness, on the right and on the left, through esteem and disrespect, through evil report and good report, regarded as deceivers and yet true, as unknown and yet well known, as dying and see. We live as disciplined and yet not killed, as sad yet always rejoicing, as poor yet enriching many, as having none and yet possessing all. Our mouth has spoken openly to you, O Corinthians. Our heart is wide open. You are not restrained by us, but you are restrained by your own affections. But for the same reward I speak as to children. Open wide your hearts too. Do not become unevenly yoked with unbelievers. For what partnership have righteousness and lawlessness? And what fellowship has light with darkness? And what agreement has Messiah with Belial? Or what part does a believer have with an unbeliever? And what union has the dwelling place of Elohim with idols? For you are a dwelling place of the living Elohim. As Elohim has said, I shall dwell in them and walk among them, and I shall be their Elohim, and they shall be my people. Therefore, come out from among them, and be separate, says Yahuwah, and do not touch what is unclean, and I shall receive you, and I shall be a father to you, and you shall be sons and daughters to me, says Yahuwah, the Almighty. 2 Corinthians, 7th chapter. Having then these promises, beloved, let us cleanse ourselves from all defilement of the flesh and the spirit, perfecting set apartness in the fear of Elohim. Make room for us. We wronged no one. We corrupted no one. We exploited no one. I do not say this to condemn, for I previously said that you are in our hearts to die together and to live together. Great is my boldness of speech toward you. Great is my boasting on your behalf. I have been filled with encouragement. I overflow with joy and all our pressure. For indeed, when we came into Macedonia, our flesh had no rest, but we were hard pressed on every side, conflicts without, fears within. But Elohim, who encourages the downcast, encouraged us by the coming of Titus, and not only by his coming, but also by the encouragement with which he was encouraged over you, when he reported to us your longing, your mourning, your order for me, so that I greatly rejoiced. For even if I made you sad with my letter, I do not regret it, though I did regret it, for I perceive that the same letter made you sad, even if for an hour. I now rejoice, not that you were made sad, but that you were saddened into repenting. For you were made sad according to Elohim, so that you suffered no loss from us. For sadness according to Elohim works repentance to deliverance, not to be regretted, but the sadness of the world works death. For see how you have been saddened according to Elohim, how much it worked out in your eagerness, indeed clearing of yourselves, indeed displeasure, indeed fear, indeed longing, indeed order, indeed righting of wrong. In every way you prove yourselves to be clear in the matter. So although I wrote to you, it was not for the sake of him who had done the wrong, nor for the sake of him who suffered wrong, but for the sake of revealing our diligence for you before Elohim. For this reason, we have been encouraged in your encouragement, and we rejoiced exceedingly more for the joy of Titus, because his spirit has been refreshed by all of you. Because if I have boasted somewhat about you to him, I am not ashamed. But as we spoke to you in all truth, even so our boasting to Titus was found true. And his tender feelings are greater for you, as he remembers the obedience of all of you, as you received him with fear and trembling. I rejoice that in every way I am of good courage by reason of you. 2 Corinthians chapter 8. Now, brothers, we make known to you the favor of Elohim, which has been given in the assemblies of Macedonia, that in much trial of pressure, the overflowing of their joy in their deep poverty overflowed into the riches of their generosity. Because I bear witness that according to their ability and beyond their ability they gave voluntarily, begging us with much urgency for the favor of taking part in this service to the set-apart ones. And not as we had expected, they gave themselves, first to the master and then to us by the desire of Elohim, that we should urge Titus, that as he had begun, so he would also complete this kind gift in you as well. But as you excel in every way, in belief and speech and knowledge and all diligence, and in your love for us, that you should excel in this kind gift as well. I speak not by command, but I am proving the genuineness of your love by the eagerness of others. For you know the favor of our Master YHWH Messiah, that being rich, he became poor for your sake, so that you might become rich through his poverty. And in this I give an opinion. It is to your advantage not only to be doing what you began and were desiring to do a year ago, and now also complete the work, that as there was a readiness in desiring it, so there also should be a completion out of what you have. For if the readiness is present, it is well received according to what one has, not according to what he does not have. Not, however, that others should be eased and you hard pressed, but by fair sharing, that now at this time your plenty for their need, so that their plenty might also be for your need, that there might be fair sharing. As it has been written, he who gathered much did not have too much, and he who gathered little had not less. But thanks be to Elohim, who puts the same eagerness for you into the heart of Titus, because he received the appeal indeed, but being more eager, he went to you of his own accord. And we sent with him the brother, whose praises in the good news through all the assemblies. And not only so, but who was also chosen by the assemblies to travel with us with this gift, that is administered by us to the esteem of the Master himself and your ready mind. Avoiding this, that anyone should blame us in this generous gift which is administered by us. For we provide what is right, not only in the sight of Yahuwah, but also in the sight of men. And we sent with them our brother, whom we have often proved eager in many ways, but now much more eager because of the great reliance which we have in you. As for Titus, he is my partner and fellow worker for you. As for our brothers, they are messengers of the assemblies, the esteem of Messiah. Therefore, show to them the proof of your love and of your boasting on your behalf and in the presence of the assemblies. 2 Corinthians chapter 9. Indeed, concerning the service to the set-apart ones, it is unnecessary for me to write to you, for I know your eagerness, about which I boast of you to the Macedonians, that Achaia was ready a year ago, and your order has stirred up most of them. But I sent the brothers, lest our boasting on behalf of you should be made empty in this part, in order that, as I said, you were ready, lest if some Macedonians come with me and find you not ready, we, not to speak of you, should be put to shame because of our belief. So I thought it necessary to appeal to the brothers to come to you in advance and arrange your promised blessing beforehand, this to be ready as a blessing and not a greediness. And this, he who sows sparingly shall also reap sparingly, and he who sows on blessing shall also reap on blessing. Let each one give as he purposes in his heart, not of grief or of a necessity, for Elohim loves a joyous giver, and Elohim is able to make all favor overflow toward you, that you always having all you need in every way, have plenty for every good work. As it has been written, he scattered abroad, he gave to the poor. His righteousness remains forever. And he who supplies a seed to the sower and bread for food shall supply and increase the seed you have sown and increase the fruit of your righteousness, being enriched in every way for all simplicity, which works out thanksgiving to Elohim through us, because the rendering of this service not only supplies the needs of the set-apart ones, but also is overflowing through many thanksgiving to Elohim. Through the proof of this service, they esteem Elohim on the submission of your confession to the good news of Messiah and generosity in sharing with them and all men, and by their prayer for you, who long for you because of the exceeding favor of Elohim in you. Thanks also to Elohim for his unspeakable gift. 2 Corinthians chapter 10. And I, Shual, myself appeal to you through the meekness and gentleness of Messiah, I who am indeed lowly when face to face with you, but bold toward you when absent. But I pray that when I am present, I might not be bold with that bravery by which I think to be bold against some who reckon us as if we walked according to the flesh. For though we walk in the flesh, we do not fight according to the flesh. For the weapons we fight with are not fleshly, but mighty in Elohim for overthrowing strongholds, overthrowing reasonings and every high matter that exalts itself against the knowledge of Elohim, taking captive every thought to make it obedient to the Messiah, and being ready to punish all disobedience when your obedience is complete. Take a look at what you are facing. If anyone seems to trust in himself that he is of Messiah, let him reckon again for himself that as he is of Messiah, so also are we. For even if I should boast somewhat more about our authority, which the Master gave us for building up and not for overthrowing you, I shall not be put to shame, lest I seem to frighten you away by letters, because they say his letters are truly weighty and strong. But his bodily presence is weak, and his speech amounts to naught. Let such a one take this into account, that what we are in word by letters when absent, such we are also indeed when we are present. For we do not presume to count ourselves or compare ourselves with those who commend themselves, but they, measuring themselves by themselves and comparing themselves among themselves, are not wise. But we shall not boast beyond measure, but within the measure of the limits Elohim assigned unto us to reach even to you. For we are not for extending ourselves as if we did not reach to you, for we also came to you with the good news of the Messiah, not boasting beyond measure in the labors of others, but having an expectation that as your belief grows, we shall be greatly enlarged by you, according to our limits, to bring the good news and the parts beyond you, not to boast in another's limits in what has been accomplished. But he who boasts, let him boast in Yahuwah. For not he who commends himself is approved, but he whom the Master commends. 2 Corinthians chapter 11. I wish that you would bear with me in a little folly, but indeed you are bearing with me. For I am jealous for you with a jealousy according to Elohim. For I gave you in marriage to one husband, to present you as an innocent maiden to Messiah. But I am afraid, lest at the serpent deceived Hawa by his trickery, so your mind should be corrupted from the simplicity that is in Messiah. For indeed, if he who is coming proclaims another Yahushua, whom we have not proclaimed, or if you receive a different spirit which you have not received, or a different good news which you have not accepted, you put up with it well enough. For I reckon that I am not inferior to the most eminent emissaries. But even if I am unskilled in word, yet not in knowledge, indeed, in every way we have been manifested among you in all matters. Or did I commit sin in humbling myself in order to exalt you, because I brought good news, the good news of Elohim, to you without being paid? Other assemblies I robbed by receiving wages from them to serve you. And when I was present with you and in need, I was not a burden to anyone. For what was lacking to me, the brothers who came from Macedonia supplied. And in every way I kept myself and shall keep from being a burden to you. It is a truth of Messiah in me, that this boasting in me shall not be stopped in the districts of Arcadia. Why? Is it that I do not love you? Elohim knows, and I shall go on doing as I do, in order to cut off the occasion from those desiring an occasion, so that in that which they boast they might be found also as we are. For such are false emissaries, deceptive workers, masquerading as emissaries of Messiah. And no wonder, for Satan himself masquerades as a messenger of light. It is not surprising, then, if his servants also masquerade as servants of righteousness, whose end shall be according to their works. Again I say, let no one think me to be a fool, and if otherwise, at least receive me as a fool, for me to also boast a little. What I speak not according to the Master, but as in foolishness, in this boldness of boasting. Since many boast according to the flesh, I too shall boast. For you being wise, put up with fools gladly. For you put up with it if anyone enslaves you, if anyone devours you, if anyone takes from you, if anyone exalts himself, if one hits you in the face. To my shame, I say that we were too weak for that. But in whatever anyone is bold, I say it in foolishness. I am bold also. Are they Hebrews? So am I. Are they Israelites? So am I. Are they the seed of Abraham? So am I. Are they servants of Messiah? I speak as beside myself. I am more in labors, much more, in stripes, above measure, in prisons, more frequently, in deaths, many times. 5 times I received from the Yahudim 40 stripes less one. 3 times I was beaten with rods. Once I was stoned. 3 times I was shipwrecked. A night and a day I have been in the deep, in many travels, and dangers of waters, and dangers of robbers, and dangers from my own race, and dangers from the Gentiles, and dangers in the city, and dangers in the desert, and dangers in the sea, and dangers among false brothers, in toil and hardship, and watchings often, and hunger and thirst, and fastings often, and cold and nakedness, besides the matters from outside. What comes upon me daily? The anxiety for all the assemblies. Who is weak, and I am not weak? Who is made to stumble, and I do not burn inwardly? If I have to boast, I shall boast of matters that show up my weakness. The Elohim and Father of our Master YHWH Messiah, who is blessed forever, knows that I am not lying. In Damascus, the governor under Arestus, the sovereign, was guarding the city of the Damascenes, wishing to seize me. But through a window I was let down in a basket by the wall and escaped from his hands. 2 Corinthians chapter 12. To boast indeed is useless for me, for I shall go on to visions and revelations of Yahuwah. I know a man in Messiah, who 14 years ago, whether in the body, I do not know, or whether out of the body, I do not know. Elohim knows. Such a one was caught up to the third heaven. And I know such a man, whether in the body or out of the body, I do not know. Elohim knows. That he was caught up into paradise and heard unspeakable words, which it is not right for a man to speak. Of such a one I shall boast, but of myself I shall not boast, except in my weaknesses. For if I shall wish to boast, I shall not be a fool, for I shall speak the truth. But I refrain, lest anyone should think more of me than what he sees in me or hears of me. And to keep me from exalting myself, because of the exceeding greatness of the revelations, a thorn in the flesh was given to me, a messenger of Satan to hit me, to keep me from exalting myself. Concerning this, I pleaded with the master 3 times to take it away from me. And he said to me, my favor is sufficient for you, for my power is perfected in weakness. Most gladly, then, I shall rather boast in my weaknesses, so that the power of Messiah rests on me. Therefore, I take pleasure in weaknesses, in insults, in needs, in persecutions, in distresses, for the sake of Messiah. For when I am weak, then I am strong. I have become a fool. You have compelled me, for I should have been commended by you. For in no respect was I behind the most eminent emissaries, though I am a nobody. Indeed, the signs of an emissary were wrought among you with all endurance in signs and wonders and powers. For what is there in which you were inferior to other assemblies, except that I myself was not a burden to you? Forgive me this wrong. See, I am ready to come to you for the 3rd time, and I shall not be a burden to you, for I do not seek yours, but you. For the children should not lay up for the parents, but the parents for the children. And I shall most gladly spend and be spent for your lives. If I love you more and more, am I to be loved less? But be it so, I did not burden you, but being crafty did I catch you with guile? Did I take advantage of you by any of those whom I sent to you? I urged Titus and sent our brother with him. Did Titus take advantage of you? Did we not walk in the same spirit? Not in the same steps? Again, do you think that we defend ourselves to you? We speak before Elohim and Messiah. But all this, beloved, is for your upbuilding. For I feel lest when I come I do not find you such as I wish, and I be found by you such as you do not wish, lest there be strife, jealousies, outbursts of wrath, selfish ambitions, slander, gossip, puffings up, unrest, and lest when I come again my Elohim should humble me among you, and I shall mourn for many who have sinned before and have not repented of the uncleanness and whoring and indecency which they have practiced. 2 Corinthians chapter 13. This is the 3rd time I am coming to you. By the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, every word shall be established. I have previously said, and I say beforehand, as being present a second time and now being absent, I write to those who have sinned before and to all the rest, that if I come again, I shall not spare. Since you are seeking for proof of Messiah, speaking in me, who is not weak toward you, but mighty in you, for though he was impaled in weakness, yet he lives by the power of Elohim. For we also are weak in him, but we shall live with him by the power of Elohim toward you. Examine yourselves whether you are in the belief. Prove yourselves. Or do you not know yourselves that Yahushua Messiah is in you, unless you are disapproved? And I trust that you shall know that we are not disapproved. And we pray to Elohim that you do no evil at all, not that we should appear approved, but that you should do what is right, even though we should appear unapproved. For we have no power at all against the truth, but for the truth. For we rejoice when we are weak and you are strong. And this also we pray for your perfection. For this reason I write this in my absence, so that being present I should not use sharpness, according to the authority which the Master has given me, for upbuilding and not for overthrowing. For the rest, brothers, rejoice. Be made perfect. Be encouraged. Be of one mind. Live in peace, and the Elohim of love and peace shall be with you. Greet one another with a set-apart kiss. All the set-apart ones greet you. The favor of the Master Yahushua Messiah and the love of Elohim and the fellowship of the set-apart Spirit be with all of you. Amen.